The general and special senses. Chapter 18. Introduction. Senses, our perception of what is out there. 2 groups. General senses includes senses that are not specific. Pass information through spinal nerves. Special senses found within complex sense organs to cerebral cortex. Pass information through cranial nerves to cerebral cortex. Sensory receptors are transducers. Change stimuli into electrochemical impulses. Specific receptors can transduce only certain types of stimuli. Receptors. Interpretation of sensory information occurs in cerebral cortex. Depends on the area of the cerebral cortex that receives the information. Central processing and sensory adaptation. Sensory adaptation, the loss of sensitivity after continuous stimulation, occurs in some types of receptors. Role, prevents brain from being overloaded with unimportant information. Receptors of the general senses. Pain. Referred pain. Phantom pain. Thermoreceptors detect changes in temperature. Mechanoreceptors respond to pressure and touch. Chemoreceptors detect chemicals in solution. Blood composition. Smell. Taste. Referred pain. The special senses. Olfaction, the nose, olfactory receptors can detect at least 50 different primary smell. Located in the roof of nasal cavity. Molecules dissolve in the mucus or lipids of the epithelium. Olfactory neurons pass through the roof of the nasal cavity and synapse in the olfactory nerve. Olfactory tracts go directly to the cerebral cortex. Olfactory receptors. Olfactory receptors. Taste receptors are in the taste buds. Taste, the tongue. Taste receptors are in the taste buds. Can detect 4 primary tastes. Sweet, sour, salty, bitter. Located in papilla on the surface of the tongue. Taste buds contain the taste receptors. Molecules dissolve in saliva. Cranial nerves relay sensory impulses to the cerebral cortex. Taste areas of the tongue. Taste buds. Taste bud. Equilibrium and hearing, the ear. External ear. The auricle directs sound waves into the external auditory meters to the tympanic membrane. Middle ear contains the auditory ossicles. Malleus, incus, stapes. Connected to throat by the eustachian tube. Inner ear. The ear. The middle ear. The inner ear. Separated from the middle ear by the oval window. Consists of a series of canals filled with fluid. The inner ear semicircular canals cochlea. Contains receptors for head position. Cochlea. Contains the organ of Corti, the organ of hearing. The inner ear. The semicircular canals. Detects balance. Arranged at right angles to each other. Contain hair cells are embedded in gelatinous material with fluid over it. Detect movement of the head. Bends the hairs, creating nerve impulses. Hair cells in the semicircular canals. Consists of hair cells on a basement membrane. The organ of Corti. Detects sound waves. Consists of hair cells on a basement membrane. Tips of hairs touch the tectorial membrane. When the basement membrane vibrates, the hair cells are bent, Sending a nerve impulse. Organ of Corti. Organ of Corti. Summary of hearing: sound waves enter the external auditory meatus. Tympanic membrane vibrates. Auditory ossicles vibrate. Oval window vibrates. Fluid in inner ear vibrates. Basement membrane moves. Hairs rub against the tectorial membrane. Nerve impulse is sent along the auditory nerve to the brain. Vision: the eye. Accessory structures: eyelids protect the eye. Conjunctiva lines the eyelid. Lacrimal gland produces tears. Extrinsic muscles move the eyeball. The eye consists of 3 tunics, layers. Structure of the eye consists of 3 tunics, layers. Outer tunic, outermost layer. Includes the cornea and sclera. Middle tunic includes the choroid coat, ciliary body, and lens, iris and pupil. Inner tunic, retina, inner layer. Contains the rods and cones, photoreceptors. Includes the optic disc, blind spot. The eye. Tunics of the eye. Inner tunic. The lens separates the interior of the eye into 2 cavities. The cavities of the eye. The lens separates the interior of the eye into 2 cavities. Anterior cavity in front of the lens. Contains aqueous humor. Glaucoma. Posterior cavity behind the lens. Contains vitreous humor. Cavities of the eye. Contains many blood vessels and nerves. The vascular tunic. Contains many blood vessels and nerves. The iris controls the size of the pupil. Suspensory ligaments attach the lens to the ciliary body. Controls the shape of the lens. Allows focusing on near and distant objects. Cataract. The pupil. Cones allow for sharp color vision in bright light. The retina. Cones allow for sharp color vision in bright light. 3 types, each with a different pigment. Rods provide for vision in dim light. The retina. Rods provide for vision in dim light. Most dense at the periphery of the retina. Contain the pigment rhodopsin. Visual receptors. Summary of vision. Light rays enters through the pupil. Light rays cross in the lens. Retina receives reversed and upside down image. Rods and cones are stimulated. Optic nerve carries impulse to the brain.